of the row we're currently on in the table.
Exactly. And because I think sometimes most of the time it's okay that there are others that are waiting to answer, but sometimes when there's a back and forth with the answerer and Alex, it looks a little better to just be a 2-up.
Yeah, definitely.
Can I just check, JJ? The host button and the host button is still not working. Is that going to be down? Is that not functional at the moment?
Host and reader should be working because they are nominated in panel view today.
Currently, it's not. The host is not working, I'm afraid.
Okay, that's a bug. George needs to record that as a bug.
Question reader is not working either, as far as I can see.
SuperSource looks really bad.
I haven't seen those work yet, Richard.
You haven't seen those work at all, JJ? Is that correct?
Ever.
No
I've
problem.
never seen those work yet.
Host SuperSource and host reader SuperSource, they don't work either. Is that correct?
Those do work.
No, those work.
Those will work. JJ
currently
just needs
not
to make sure that the right people are in them.
No problem. So neither of those are
Richard,
responding to control.
What they do is they change on the left-hand side of the SuperSource it from only the host to the host and the reader. It changes the SuperSource.
Yep, and it looks like that's working. Bear in mind that Alex's video is currently off.
Sure, no problem. I can see that active now once the SuperSource is in preview. Thank you.
Dennis, can you lower your volume just slightly?
And then,
Stand by.
Juan, if you would like to pin me, I'm showing your patch, and I have it on. I don't know if it's too slow, if the refresh rate is too slow, but we'll see.
I have lowered my volume. Is that better?
It is, yeah. I think when
Great.
you get excited, it gets a bit loud.
Quick question.
And I'm assuming all the gaps in the SuperSource, sorry, the Smart Gallery is because people have stuff off. Is that correct?
Go ahead, Laura. Oh, wait, sorry. Because people have stuff off. Oh, I see. Yeah, probably.
No problem.
Yeah, go ahead, Laura.
I was just putting it in the chat. I thought it might have been easier. That 2-up that you're talking about, would that solve a good piece of the attack issue that that I had shown you the other day?
It is one of the things that will solve that. By the other thing, we'll be thinking about timing for that attack issue, but it solves it because if there's a lot of banter back and forth, then the TD can choose that 2-up and then it's solved.
That's
So
what I thought. Yeah.
It routes around the issue a bit.
Yeah, because I was using the SuperSource for that when I was
Yeah.
cutting because I didn't have another option.
And then instead of having a SuperSource with a bunch of other people looking blankly, you have just those two people that are talking. Juan, if you could Discord me whether or not I need to disconnect your testing actor in order to have only the input from Mukana coming through this patch.
JJ, coming out of the testing, it might be nice to rename the Smart Gallery to the numbers of the input.
Sorry, I missed that. The first part of that. Say it again, Richard.
Sorry, coming out of testing, it might be handy to use to rename the Smart Gallery to the numbers input, or make sure they match with the universe patch. Because the correlation at the moment takes a couple of seconds for your brain to translate 3.2 into a number. It's the same with the nodes on the bottom of the main multi-view, translating them across to bills in 20, not just in 5.4. Just might make it a little bit easier for the switcher.
So universe feedback request of having the names there in the interface for the cutter.
Yeah, that's right.
Would it maybe make sense, first name and number?
I don't really mind the first name thing, but that's probably because I know people at this stage. Just having their number is helpful initially, at least sequentially. But yeah, having their name and number would probably be handy. So number first and then the first name would probably be helpful. In my mind, I always could look for the input number first when I'm trying to switch something. Chad has just said that Andy has stopped his camera until second hour. I don't know if you want to take him out of the smart gallery as a result.
Yep. Where's Andy? Where was Andy? Oh, he was in 9. What about whoever's in 13? Daniel Oscar. He's already out. Okay.
And we have Alex twice in the smart gallery.
Okay. Trying to move Sky to 9. You said Alex twice.
Alex is in node 1.4 as well as node
program. Okay. Bill to program location. There you go. And then who was in 13? 13 was Rupert. Listening to Alex.
And we aware that Alex's lower third doesn't work.
Happens all the time.
Dennis. Oh, it's Dennis. Dennis, you can turn your camera on?
Yeah, so we don't exactly know why, Richard, but it does
No
happen
problem.
quite often.
Dennis?
For some reason, Alex is the one that gives us the most trouble. Maybe because he's the owner of the account. I don't know.
So what was your question to me, JJ?
Your camera seems to be off inside of Office Hours 2.0. Good show.
Yeah, I'm not talking today, so my camera is off there.
Okay, thank you. Danny Law, quickly. Okay, there you go.
Danny's in twice. He's also in 4.4.
Damn, why did you do this? Get Prado?
Prado?
Yeah, Prado. All right.
Okay.
This would
First
already
couple of
go.
questions have no hands on them. So the super source is basically worthless for those, Richard.
Any problem? Unless Alex is
We now have a hand on the first one.
Who's up in the first one?
Doug Ferguson.
Thank you. Doug, I think he turned his camera off and then turned it back on, so he's not in the smart gallery. JJ?
Doug is in 7.
Oh, he is. Thank you very much. 2.3. Yeah.
Yeah, so just to confirm, Richard, you understand the 16 up view in OH 2.02 represents the first 16 buttons in your interface. 1
That's
is top left, 16 is bottom right, and then 17 through 20 are the bottom row in the multi-view.
That's correct. Confirmed.
And it looks like Hoffman's name is not working. API on, API off.
Show is starting.
Everyone, welcome to Office Hours. If you want to on,
Hearing mobile interference.
Sorry, sir. Probably me. Second.
Two hands now on first question. Doug Ferguson, John Preto. SuperSource is ready.
Doug.
That question did not work correctly. So the SPX question is not working.
You found on that?
Is the API turned on? Yes, it is.
That's not it. I mean, that is, but Okay.
SuperSource ready for Jeffrey.
I'm gonna check the SPX box.
Next question has one hand, Jason Beisch. Alex's lower third is not working.
We mentioned that.
Okay. SuperSource is ready.
Lower third worked. The question.
Yep, the question looked okay, I think.
Looks good for me.
Next question has three hands, Rupert McRae, Jason Beisch, Courtney Goodin. If you want to cut the SuperSource during the question, you can put Bill in with the host reader SS button.
Awesome. Thank you, Dennis.
Oh,
So I'm noticing that the SuperSource name is not following along the same one as the unchanged. On your new,
SuperSource looks good.
sorry, yeah, I'm just talking about Juan's work.
Yeah,
Sort of separate thread.
Jason is not framed correctly. If
Yeah.
someone could mention that in panel chat, that would be helpful.
If anyone can mention that to Doug as well, that'd be great.
Why are we getting, that's confusing. I think I have to process this. There we go. Problem was not in Juan's code. I think the problem was in the other code.
Jason has seen the message from Chad. Thank you.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I think Alex pressed the button then. I had to press it.
Yes, Dennis, I don't know if you heard, Alex was directing Bill this morning on.
Right, someone else has taken over pushing. This is frustrating.
Dennis?
Yeah.
Bill may be trying to push questions.
Yeah, no,
Alex,
Bill
first
is pushing questions. I've left questions to Bill, but I thought we agreed that I was pushing names and someone else is now doing it.
Not it.
Looking really good, Juan. The only thing is that there's an offset by 1 on the SuperSource names, and I'm not entirely sure why.
All right.
Is the name push something you could, or that we could suss out in the chat?
Okay, next question has Mitchell Hell with a hand up. Yeah, Alex's name is still not working. So if you hit graphics out, Richard, that will stop it displaying. It will come back next time
It'll
someone
come
else
back, yeah.
speaks.
I know the stars are on, so I was just leaving it because it kept coming out. Coming back.
Okay, David Paskin is a black hole. His camera is on, so I would suggest stand by to switch to screen because I suspect he won't appear. Yeah, there we are. And we seem to have lost him.
Is a problem. We moved to, sorry, Juan, we moved to a 4 up when we should be in a 2 up. I mean, in a 1 up.
Well, we have 4 hands on
Sorry,
this question.
sorry, I'm separate from you guys. Just debugging with Juan. That's why I was asking about
Right.
breakout rooms.
Okay, super source is now good. No one pressed. I was hesitant to press so I could see what happened. I seem to have control again. Super source, good.
Okay, going to try to add David Paskin to 18.
Okay, that question went smoother from my point of view. Next question has no hands.
That's great, Juan, that you do a no source when there are no hands. Real, as Richard Library would say.
It felt like David appeared in active speaker for a second and then it dies when it cuts to him, but he is in screen share for definite. Did anyone see that?
Yes, I did see that. Richard, I think it's because screen share is being pulled from Zoom, not through the API. But I
Yeah,
could be
but
wrong.
it's just weird that he appears in the smart speaker, but then disappears after a second.
Yeah, that is really weird.
What's going on?
Smart speaker seems to be down. Or is it just because Jason's talking at the moment? No, smart speaker does seem to be down.
Okay. Doing something unstable.
And we're back up.
Okay, remapping,
And Alex's lower third is back.
remapping.
Could you put like a little beep beep after you say that as well, JJ?
Beep, beep.
Remapping, beep beep.
I don't know if you can hear me. Everything froze, but I'm back.
We can't hear you. Thank you.
Beep, beep.
Super source is good. Now you want to,
Okay.
yeah, you've done it. You want to try and keep off the super source. You put it up for the question and then come off it so Alex has time to move about.
Yeah, just I wasn't too sure whether the question looked good on top of the full screen, so I was kind of hesitant for a little bit. Now I'm started looking at it a little bit more.
Yeah, the super source is being slow to update. So definitely having the ability to skip to the next one would be useful for the cutter.
George, it was David Paskin appeared and then disappeared. And just an answer to your message.
My preference is not to keep the question on screen once you cut to the single. You can generally get away with it with Bill, who's positioned very well, but most other people, you end up cutting bits of their chin off.
I know, but it's a bit of a, I mean, the question is the important thing, I think, and
Yeah.
keeping it longer. I kind of feel like if you don't have enough time to read it twice, then you haven't got enough time for it. But
Yeah.
then that's the balance problem between getting away from the super source as quickly as possible and leaving the question up as long as possible. So I
Yeah,
think
sure.
leaving it over the full screen is probably the lesser of two evils.
That,
Quote master and commander for no reason in the middle of it.
I think someone put their hand down. So super source is reflective of the current situation.
So Juan, we were in a 4-up when we should have been in a 1-up on your brain until the hand went down and then it fixed itself. I'm running a 3 max boxes version now as well, if you could tell.
Okay. Supersource is good. I noticed it switched around after it put the people in the boxes. That's something to look into. Next question has no hands.
11:24 a.m. from Dennis. Dennis. New paragraph. New paragraph.
Yikes.
No hands on this or the next question currently.
Now I realize why no one is answering me. Do you think that it would work for when there are no hands to have another super source name that showed the host and the question?
Yeah, it depends upon whether they want the question over the chin kind of thing that Dennis and I
No,
was talking
I mean
about.
like a smaller version of the host with some room for the space for the.
I know,
for the
I know that's
question?
what you mean. It just depends upon whether they think that the chin, the question of the chin is a problem or just a,
Now I realize why no one is answering me.
Anytime you,
Do you think that it would work for when there are no hands? Why am I
Why are
coming
we
back
hearing
to
that again?
myself for the super source name that showed the host and the question?
I think we heard you the first time, or possibly the second time.
Aaron was feeding in
Okay.
YouTube audio.
Yeah, we need to try and get Alex to use the OH framer. Everyone else is doing, but
Right.
he's not framed correctly.
I guess what I'm saying is if there's a question being asked and there's no hands, we should make a pretty super source that would allow for the question to be there with the host answering.
Yeah, I would think host and reader.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't putting people into super source whenever they're not needed. I don't know if that will work because that means the reader is there for a time that they're not needed. I think it's either better to find a better framing so the super source fits better or the question fits better. Personally, I don't mind the question over the person, but that's my aesthetics. It may not be a aesthetics choice that Alex wants. But I would worry about creating an entire extra super source just for that one solution when the solution is either to move up frame or that the question goes over the person. Because
The reason I ask
problem
is because Juan is outputting a name called no source at the time when there's no hands raised. So we could call for another super source really easily. That's what I was trying to point out.
It's definitely worth trying. There's no reason not to try it and experiment with it.
Instead of playing with the video, what if we made the question shorter? Or did a different treatment for the question?
But yeah.
That is actually one of Alex's requests, not just the question shorter, but he in our meetings, Alex has stated that the space, well, actually, I shouldn't say meetings. Immediately after the show, in after hours, Alex has stated that one of his notes has been on the left-hand side of the question. There's a lot of white space, so he'd like us to move that over and have the whole question be lower itself.
Yeah, he said the same thing to me. I've been waiting for Tuomo to return, but Tuomo is busy. So, yeah, we can play with different options now. I think I have time now. After the show.
I think we just lost your audio for a bit, Aaron.
Sorry, I didn't realize I had turned on. I have time after the show to play with HTML and CSS and make my mind explode. So,
Also, Aaron, real quick, I don't know if you saw the repo I added you. We have an issue tracker in there now as well, so we can.
Can we?
Error is sort of too vague for me to action on. What are you talking about?
We need to record that the super source didn't work.
Yeah,
The hand went up late, and that caused it not to update. Once Jim's hand went up, it refreshed and it was good.
Where's the issue tracker, Jonas? Which repo?
OH 2.0.
It was created last night.
Jim's not coming back in the active speaker. Active speaker was live and then Jim was talking and didn't come back to him. Is Jim somewhere else, JJ? Is he on screen share or something maybe?
Sorry, was that to me? I was listening to Alex.
I'm not too sure what it was, but the behavior I was seeing there is that active speaker was live, and Jim was talking, but it wouldn't go to Jim. So I had to scramble to try and find Jim.
Okay. Let me see.
So we are off. Juan, we're off on the super source names between the old version and your version now again. Now it's back, except for at least has the right number of numbers.
Is there a reason why people are leaving the super source at the moment whenever
They were
they're
putting their hand down.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's working correctly now, thanks to Juan.
Thanks, Juan.
Trying to buy a new TV.
Going off headset for a second.
Should I do some away?
Thanks, Chad.
Back on comms.
And that's the same thing again. Active speaker is stuck on on Alex. It didn't bring Josh into it.
I have a suspicion that that has to do with levels. If someone is a little low, then Zoom isn't activating active speaker.
Yeah, it could be because it
Zoom
showed Josh for a
activated
second
it.
and then took him away.
If you look in screen share, he was there. It was Smart Speaker that didn't do it.
Yeah, Smart Speaker wasn't activating, but Smart Speaker usually activates off the basis of level, I think is what Tlup's saying.
So
Someone said yesterday that it doesn't actually take into account level at all, and it's based on muting and unmuting. I'm not sure about that though.
Interesting.
Smart, the active speaker that Andy wrote is based on the is speaking tag, I believe.
Right.
Well, whatever it is at the moment, we're seeing inconsistent behavior.
the speaking tag in Zoom. That was my point.
Is speaking is correct.
But the speaking Zoom and tag is the speaking Zoom tag in Zoom, isn't that based on levels as well?
Yeah, that was what I was thinking about.
Yeah, that's why it always triggers late.
And active speaker in Zoom, I don't know how that works, if that's the same tag or not.
It's the same thing.
It doesn't really match up, so that's weird.
It's because Zoom stuff is very decoupled.
So Juan, now my two super source rebuild actors are not the same.
Super source has broken. Jeffrey should be shown.
I think Jeffrey raised his hand and lowered his hand on the wrong question and then raised his hand again on the right.
No, Jeffrey did the right thing.
Okay.
There we go. I've just hit DSS reset and it's fixed it.
Awesome.
Was that an early button push?
It was, an early button push by Bill, bringing the question up. And then Alex called on Jeffrey as the last person, but it was on the wrong question.
Got you. So Alex didn't catch the fact that Bill had advanced early.
Indeed.
Thanks for that explanation.
George is just giving us a heads up that he is having trouble distinguishing different voices. From my perspective, I think the note is more important than who said it. But if you're having trouble, George, I wouldn't worry about it.
I agree.
Keith is noting that position 4, JJ, is black.
Next question has no hands.
Dennis, who did you say?
It was Kaufman. Kaufman still here?
Chad, you were very low. I didn't catch what you were asking.
TJ's asking in panel view who's pushed the answer button on that last question.
I think it was Bill. It certainly wasn't me.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so Josh Kaufman's still in the meeting. He just has his camera off right now, so I expect he'll return. To prevent greater instability, we tried to leave people where they are, unless they've left in the mapping of the 16 up. For now. Yes, sir. Richard?
Okay, SuperSource now good. SuperSource is good.
Just check the active speaker logic. It is using is speaking, which can have an issue if two people are speaking. We might want to add more logic in there.
Yeah, there needs to be some hysteresis. We just saw it happen where Alex popped for half a second while Courtney was talking.
Problem is that multiple people can have that tag. So yeah, we need to say that person already had the tag 3 seconds ago. We don't need to change.
Yeah. It just happened again. It happens when somebody speaks for a very short time.
No hands on the next question.
If that could be related to that unmute issue where when you go to mute yourself, you pull focus in Zoom.
I think it's also that, Alex is saying, and Chris, and whatever, and that's causing a trigger of the font to change as well.
Yeah, and I had tried to, when I was cutting last week, pull back to the SuperSource at that point if it was even halfway usable, so that if Alex spoke for just a second, you didn't get that flash. I think that's why we were talking about the 2-up earlier.
We need to look at the logic to make sure that it can't flash very quickly like that.
Yeah, I'm just writing the issue for that now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have to be
more-
talking for more than a second or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you notice that section is called cut active speaker and MA2. Oh, you got it. Sorry. Found it. That actor.
3 hands on the next question.
Well, I just lost my data.
What?
Just got to the end of my data on my tethering.
On his cell phone program plan.
You can get to the end of that?
Yeah, it's like the end of the internet.
Kaufman, turn your camera on in the other meeting, would you?
Jeffrey's got his camera off as well now in 3.
You're giving me. There you go.
Yeah, he said he was stepping away.
Kaufman's camera is back on,
Thank you.
as per request.
Source 4 is returned. No new mapping required. Who's 3? Jeffrey. Oh, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey, yeah.
That's fine. He'll be back.
Wow,
I
what
told him.
powers you have, JJ?
Supersource changing. Supersource no good.
I heard your voice. You're like, why is he here? I need your camera in there. I have no
To
power.
be fair, my camera is not in here.
I didn't think we were doing 4-ups.
I need your pretty head and your perfect background. Right now,
Yeah.
you're number 2. Who's
It's
number
not
1?
so pretty
Greg.
from my
Greg.
HDR, unfortunately, but it's
Time for a new camera. New.
Panelist out of frame
TV.
in the Supersource.
Rachel.
Copy that.
Yeah, Mitchell's now realised and moved back.
He's been conscious of that. I think it'd be kind of nice if I can send another.
Someone
Window.
clicked. I think Alex has started clicking again, I think.
Might be muscle memory on his part.
Yeah.
What the hell happened there?
Hold on, Supersource. Right.
Whoa.
Supersource is now correct, but obviously Mitchell is showing a different camera, so it doesn't work.
Did Mitchell just go off script?
Yes.
But I'm not listening.
I hate it when that happens. It's another case for having the bleep on the delay for the OH 2.0. Just saying.
Did someone do a not clean show?
What did Mitchell say?
Not really.
It was just,
He
he
was
just did
trying
a
to say
foible that
offset
sounded
instead
weird.
Instead of offset, he said offset.
Supersource ready. Hold on, Supersource. I saw him flip to a desktop display.
Is he the only one answering my question?
Yeah, he's the only one on this question.
I'm not rebooting my computer.
Juan, I think the differences are not a break in your code. I think it is a break in the previous code, just FYI. Because I can fix it by resetting.
Doug Ferguson is the only hand on this one.
Doug with his jaunty camera angle.
3 is back.
And I hate that line.
What?
The diagonal line coming from his monitor.
Yeah.
So much here, but in the super, it draws a line up from Alex's shoulder.
No hands on the next question.
What was that, chat? Draw the line up on Alex's shoulder?
Yeah, in the super, that line comes off like Alex's armpit and starts drawing up the page. It's just a bad look. Doug's monitor line.
Another hand, Courtney. Yeah, and he's clicked it before I had the chance.
How useful is the super source?
Well, Alex's hope was that the super source would be where all the questions happen. He hasn't expressed much desire in question being underneath a face on their regular screen.
But we're not cutting to the question when the reader isn't in the super source.
It can be.
They can be, though. No hands on the next question.
Richard,
I want to check with Richard. We've got a hand now. Rupert has got his hand up. You said you wanted to cut the first hour. Do you want to carry on for the second hour, or do you want to hand it off?
I'll have to hand it off. I just don't have, unfortunately, time with other family commitments to
Okay.
Lingering.
Right. Who wants to take the second hour? No one?
Just note, active speaker is stuck on Courtney right now.
Thanks, George. George, you trying to get your microphone on? No? It's like you're trying.
Somebody lose the graphic, please.
Yeah, it says Courtney.
It's wrong.
Oh, weird.
It's automatic as well, so it's hard to.
The speaker's
change
still
that.
Courtney.
But yes, our speaker is stuck on Courtney, which is probably why the graphics are on.
You beat me to it, Richard.
Stuck on. There it is.
Active speaker is back.
Yep. And it put the lower third up when it fixed it.
Yep.
Right, SuperSource is not going to work initially on the next question because Rupert hasn't been accepted.
How's that? Is Rupert there?
Rupert is shown in the super source, but it's going to change as soon as it's going to flicker as soon as he's accepted. So I wouldn't use the super source during the question.
Well, I can fix it fast enough. Richard, is the question and host super source working?
Give me 1 second. You mean the host super
Right.
source and host reader super source, or you just mean the buttons question reader and which ones do you mean, JJ?
On the right hand, there's a host
These ones?
SS and host and reader
Yeah,
SS.
they were working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super source now good.
I did it manually. I showed Courtney.
Yeah, I know. I hit DSS reset, which has now frozen on me.
Yeah.
Once the super source is off screen, I'll hit it again to release the button.
Thank you.
Super source clear.
Yep, I've got it. Next question has no
yes.
hands.
Host super source and host reader super source is there. Yeah.
Oh, great.
I just haven't been using host reader super source because it looked a bit weird to have all the kind of dead heads apart from the reader.
Talking about us right now, by the way. BTS.
We've lost 5.1. Node 5.1.
That was Craig, I think. Craig Kadoki. He should be back. Craig is still in the meeting. His camera's off.
Copy that. And node 5.1, oh, there he is. There he's back. Turned into Alex for a second. It does that with MISO, doesn't it? When it comes back on, it takes a wee second.
Yeah. A lot of times it'll show the person who was there.
Yeah, that's weird. I did that.
It briefly flickers the route or an image of the route who's previously there. Oh, okay, I'm definitely have to figure out how to do this more from home. My commute is killing me.
Something to add as a feature request. We need to be able to fade to black or cut to black. So we need a black source that's available to the cutter.
The pumpkin cutter.
I mean, we can't just choose any random person who's turned off their camera.
I wouldn't trust that.
No, of course not.
Right, Jim it now has hand. SuperSource hasn't updated. DSS reset happening. That hasn't worked.
Oh, Jim.
It's Jim.
That's okay. Hasn't updated. And where are you, Jim?
And John Littleson has his hand and the SuperSource is fixed. And Alex clicked John again. Given how enthusiastic he was about handing it off, he's not remembering.
No, he.
Note taking has paused from George, if someone can replace.
Okay, next question has one hand. It's Jim again.
Thank you.
What's that?
Is that 2.3 is blacked? Is that a dead
It's
head or
dark.
is that
Yeah, so that we would normally refer to that as 7.
7? Yeah. I'm just reading off the screen.
Sure.
That's fine. Either
Super source is
For
good.
one thing for the cutter, one thing for the
It's Ferguson. Ferguson is gone. Okay, so Ferguson's gone. So we're replacing 7 or 2.3. Middleton, Davis, Sky. Okay, moving Sky.
if anyone is taking notes, I saw a freeze on the host button on Universe. It didn't work until a couple of clicks to go through.
Sky and 7 or 2.3.
Next question has one hand, it's locked, and the hand is Mitchell. And 3 more questions after this one in the first hour.
Copy that.
Is it graphic?
Next question has no hands.
Copy that.
So what's the game plan if nobody knows the answer and nobody raises their hand? As far as this play, you just keep it on Alex.
Alex, just smart speaker. Alex just rolled.
Jog it down, put it in a list. The times that the panel was stumped.
I could raise my hand and say I don't know.
Do we have anyone ready to cut the second hour?
All right, Joshman. You ready to cut, Joshman?
Sure.
Do you have the link?
I do not.
Right.
Okay, let's
When-
mess this up right and proper. Let's have it.
Sending you the link now.
Okay, I'm going to stop my camera as a panelist.
What? Leave it there. Need your head.
We love that, Josh.
You need my head? Okay.
Yep.
I'll leave my head.
Just heads
in
up,
the
guys,
meeting.
that Andy is also on screen share, not on
Okay.
speaker.
Nick.
Okay, this is the last question in the first hour. Let me know as soon as you're logged in to the interface, Josh.
Copy that. Stand by.
Top of the hour, I'm going to resync. have the other folks
Right.
coming in?
You need to go to the screen share while we sync so we don't see flickering things everywhere.
I think I saw Greg Curda earlier.
Curtis was planning on coming back.
Jeffrey wasn't appearing in active speaker there either. Took
Yeah.
a second to come through.
And it's gone black. Right. Go to
gone
screen
black.
share now.
Yeah, already done.
Yeah. Great. And get rid of the graphic because, oh no, it's suddenly started working.
It's working for smart speakers now. Active speaker is still not working. Screen.
Hold on. Setting outputs. Okay, active speaker will work. I'm waiting on Greg Curda though.
Active speaker is live. Josh, am I handing off to you?
Stand by. I'm trying to pull something off of my cloud. I'll be up in just a few moments.
I still have control.
Listen to TJ.
First question has no hands. First question now has a hand, but it hasn't been accepted.
Okay, I now have the interface on my machine.
Okay, Sky is the hand. I'm resetting the super source. That has not done anything. We're still seeing the wrong person. Yeah, super source is not working currently.
Is number 1.2 black? Is it a deadhead or is it a
TJ?
No problem.
TJ just right now seems to have just his camera off.
Next question has no hands.
Does the Universe controller work decently on a touchscreen?
No.
Noted. That's a shame.
Brian seemed to say it worked okay if you had the real estate.
So if it's helpful, I can share my screen.
Please.
All right, are you ready to take control, Josh?
Nope, but I'm going to do it anyway. Just tell me what I should not push.
The only buttons you want to push are the ones from Smart 16 Gallery and to the right and down. None of the ones above that.
The buttons that don't work are host and active speaker, and screen button is your button of last resort. Nothing else is working. Click on screen and cut to that.
Can you repeat that, JJ?
Your button of last resort is screen.
Screen, and that is, what is screen?
That is a screen share from the Zoom room.
Copy. Screen share. So let me find that source.
Button of last resort. If nothing else is working, cut to screen. The problem with that is we'll see the Zoom tag and the lower thirds. So you see the name twice.
Gotcha.
It's not color corrected.
Screen is last resort. Active speaker is preferred.
Also, when you're on screen, it's usually the wrong lower third, because it doesn't know if you're in screen. Your probably active speakers are probably not working, so the lower third will be wrong.
Copy that. That's ugly lower thirds on screen. Okay, so so I select one of the options and then cut. Correct?
Say again.
So, for example, active speaker. If I wanted to go to active speaker, I select active speaker and then push the cut button.
Correct.
Gotcha. And there's no feedback, right? So I just have to follow everything with the cut command.
Yeah, and watch in the multi-view to see it happening.
Okay, let me set my screen up here.
One more hand, Mitchell should.
Okay, so right now in preview, what am I seeing here? This is Bill in preview. PWV, PVW, what's that? Preview.
Oh. Okay, next question has no hands.
Let me know, Josh, when you want to take over.
Oh, okay. Got to opt in, huh?
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's on active speaker right now. So do you want to have the con?
How does it work when two people are in? Do we just step on each other?
I'm leaving off. I'm handing over to you, and then I'm signing off.
That'll be fantastic.
There you go. So you happy enough to start?
Nope, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Fair enough. You have the con.
Thank you.
And
so
step
I'll try to talk through my errant decisions.
I'll try and pop in after hours for Alex to rip apart the first hour switching.
Cool.
And,
we don't know who Josh Joshman is though, so we're good.
Yeah.
Josh, you're
Heads
off
up,
camera
Josh.
now, by the way.
If you switch to the 16 up, make sure that you're not. Oh, you've been taken off. Oh, in that case, don't worry about it. Ignore me.
Okay, that's okay. You're off camera.
Can you? Let me turn you up. I'm getting a little bit. Okay. What was your concern that I was not in the panel view?
You're fine.
Yeah, you're fine now. I was just going to say that if you were on camera, you want to make sure you're not talking while you can be seen. But as you're not on camera anymore, it doesn't matter.
I am on camera.
Not in office hours.
But I'm not part of the 16 or the 20 now. I mean, I can turn my video off, but I was instructed not to.
Yeah, you've been taken out now, so you can turn your camera off.
Okay, I will do that. Fantastic. So I see right now, let me just...
Sky is the current speaker.
I see that.
Next question has 3 hands. Andrew Lipnick, Mitchell Hill, Bill Davis.
And I'm seeing the super source only has Mitchell in it.
Yeah, it will update in a second.
So just give me something simple to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to test the touchscreen out just because I'm adventurous.
Okay. Well, as soon as
Graphic
Bill
in.
stops speaking, you can cut to SuperSource. So put SuperSource in preview now. And cut. But there you go. And now you can
that work?
bring graphic in.
I did that.
There we are. Right.
I did that.
Gotcha.
Okay, graphic
And-
out. There you go.
And
I did
cut.
that. And cut.
Yep.
Okay. Starting to get my bearings a little bit. And for a while there, I didn't see. Okay, and I should be able to listen to the real time to influence my cutting decisions, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
What happened then? This is getting very inconsistent. Someone just hit
Sorry, what was the issue, Dennis?
yeah, Bill's button was pressed before he was called.
It's Mukana. It's a Mukana issue, Josh.
Okay, gotcha.
Next question has 2 hands. SuperSource is ready.
So cut to it?
I wouldn't while Bill's speaking. It will look odd. Alex has taken over pushing the buttons again.
What buttons is he pushing?
The
Mukana.
Mukana buttons that control what we see in the SuperSource.
Seems
Was
like
that-
he's pushing
And now-
Dennis's
and then-
buttons.
Yes, indeed. And then he didn't press it this time. I pressed it.
So inconsistency a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, JJ's cutting for the second so that we can get the graphic in.
I see my buttons pushing.
SuperSource
you
is
go.
likely to change.
Yeah.
Okay. Right
And
now.
Josh, so cadence
Okay.
is
And now he pressed the button again.
cadence for cutting the show, as Dennis has been setting it, is the reader comes in, generally Bill, reads the question. If you have the SuperSource built correctly, once Bill's done reading the question, we bring the SuperSource in, we bring in the graphic. That's the question. Take the graphic out, and then you can go back to smart speaker so that, like right now, Courtney can read the question. And really, you can choose your own cadence because we're all learning here. You can
Right.
figure out what cadence you want to use, but that's been the cadence that we've been using. A couple weeks ago, if you look back at the recordings, Dennis was bringing the Smart 16 gallery in, putting the question over the Smart 16. And then
I would do that when there were no hands.
So the SuperSource labeling, is that indicative of how many? It says SuperSource 1. That's saying that it has source 1 or one source.
No,
it says box 1 is being used in this SuperSource. You
so
don't need to worry about that.
yeah,
Next question has 2 hands, Jeffrey and Mitchell.
So right now we're pretty much Courtney's done, but he's still on the SuperSource, and he will remain there until we move to the next question, in which Jeffrey and Mitchell.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so I cannot use the SuperSource until that changes.
okay. Preto's Camera's off.
So would the next step be then to queue up question reader into the preview?
I would, yes.
Copy.
Oh, it worked.
Why is that surprising?
That has not worked very well at all.
Okay, and so
you-
then once Bill starts reading, I can cut to it and then put the graphic in, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
With his current framing, yes.
With his current framing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
we-
framed well, so the question doesn't touch his chin.
Gotcha. That doesn't always
work well
happen
on Mitchell. No. Doesn't work well on Mitchell, usually.
because Mitchell's head's too big.
Well, Mitchell's chin comes into the question.
Cutting
So
to Bill,
camera's too close.
graphic in.
Yes.
So the next is graphic out or
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait-
and
wait
then
for
cut
people to
to
read it.
smart speaker. Now. Cut.
no.
No. But you need to do something because we can't stay on Bill.
Got it. I did it. I got it.
Smart speaker.
Active speaker.
Where?
Active
Yeah.
speaker.
See,
Above
that is throwing me.
Yeah, sorry.
Like, why do we have a label?
Yeah, we need that's a fix to document. Make the labels
Okay.
say the same thing.
I'm going to make a little post-it note and put it over top of this. It says smart speaker is active speaker.
Here, I'll fix it. I think I can fix it.
Okay, so
Right.
tastefully, I could go to super source.
Wait, you're about taste? Just kidding.
Okay. So if Alex starts talking back to Andrew, I could cut to super source at this point.
You could. But if he starts doing weird things with his neck like that, don't show the super source. And if he does it while the super source is live, cut away from it.
And to cut away from it would be active speaker to cut away? Okay.
Okay, this is the last hand on the current question. 3 hands on the next question.
The touchscreen seems to be working fine. Okay, graphic in. Should I not have done that? Looked like Bill was stuttering
Jason
there.
Beisch is not showing up. He seems to have his camera off.
Graphic out. So I'm gonna not use the super source. It's broken.
Don't. And stand by to jump to screen share because he may not show up in
Jason
active
is
speaker.
No longer in
Standing by on screen. Should I preview it?
Yes, because you can't use the super source.
Standing by on screen.
Yeah, if you see it go black, hit cut immediately.
Jason's not even in
Copy.
the meeting anymore.
Have we got confirmation that he's not in the meeting?
He is not in the
no
meeting.
longer in the meeting.
I'm going to take his hand away. Yes, I'd have liked to have been able to do that quicker, so he didn't call his name. But when I got rid of it, he immediately moved on. Next question has 1 hand, Craig.
So if Alex says anything, I'm going to cut to super source. If
Okay.
not, if he doesn't say anything, if he goes to next question, then
You can just stay with active speaker.
I can just stay with active speaker. Alex is nodding his head, but that's not sufficient enough clause in my book to cut. Graphic in.
Super source is good.
Graphic out. Super source loaded and cut. And next is active speaker. Cut. I'm going to load the super source. Oh, it's already loaded. Going to cut to that next. What's going to happen?
Okay. Wait for you to see Craig disappear from the super source.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'm on the super source, I put the question back in, but it's late now, so I'd leave it.
So, sorry, say that again, Dennis.
So when I'm on the super source, I like to have the question in at the bottom.
Copy
Moving
that.
to next question.
Loading the super source.
Okay, super source updating.
I did not get the graphic, but I'm going to leave it.
So this is where I'd push the graphic in, but you've switched away anyway. Don't worry.
Can I put it here?
It would cover his chin, so I wouldn't.
No. Yep. Gotcha. Okay. So I'm going to wait for the super source to change. Then I'll cut back
Jeffrey,
to it.
It's updating to add Jeffrey. And he pressed Craig.
Jeffrey looks a little bit absent. Cutting back to Craig. Waiting for the super source to change. I just kind of skipped it.
Yeah.
Super
It's so
source is
frustrating
ready.
because it looked like he wasn't pressing the button. Nothing had happened. I pressed it and he pressed it exactly the same time as me, and we went back to showing all four.
Oh, my bad.
Cut back to Bill now.
Sorry about
There
that.
we go. Yeah, I didn't want to change it while it was on screen, so we're now.
What button? Sorry, Dennis. What button did you say that you pushed the same time?
Graphic in to bring the. So as when you cut to super source, press graphic in, and then you get the
Correct.
question. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, one hand on the next question, but it's not been accepted yet, so don't use the super source unless I say.
So at this point, what is my alternate if I don't want to use a super source?
Smart Gallery.
Smart Gallery.
Which is in a usable state now.
It's in usable state. I'm going to go ahead and load it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut to that. And then when the question's asked, we're going to go back to...
I wouldn't leave it up long because you have people turning their heads away. I would cut back.
Copy that. I'm out. I'm going to put the super source back in for preview.
Right. Yeah. So if you want to, if you hit host reader now, you get Bill underneath Alex. You can't use it because Mitchell.
Sorry, host reader? I just see host.
Yeah, just ignore that. Don't use the super source because it hasn't updated correctly.
Copy. So backup is screen share. I did not get the graphic in, sorry. I'm just kind of getting my legs here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, super source is still not working. We've got 3 hands and it's not showing.
Sky
the
should
third
be
person.
there.
Sky should be there and isn't.
Copy that.
Yeah, I saw that break on this end, and in Juan's code it didn't. So interesting.
Right. And right, we're in a mess now because someone has pushed the question. We're on the wrong
Copy
question.
that. So the super source is illegible.
Right, he's
I'm not-
just retrieved it. Sky. Say Sky. Sky.
Yeah, Dennis, stop touching those buttons. Alex is really getting pissed off.
Right, well, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
The reason that we're in a
Yeah. Alex just broke one of his own rules. He talked baseball.
Yeah, that's how
set.
Yeah.
that's how frustrating that was for
He's
him.
really pissed off right now.
Yeah. Well, that was because someone hit answer on another question. And now someone's pressing buttons again because, right, now we're active on the current question. SuperSource has lost its way.
Super source is
Chris
not.
now has his hand up. Chris Comfort has his hand up, but it's not been accepted.
Chris Comfort. How do you know that?
Because in my view, if you look on my screen, the button is at the bottom of the question. Alex will need to click it to accept it. If he doesn't, then we'll just jump to the next question and we'll never see him.
In your view, sorry, Dennis, in your view?
So in my view of panel view, I get to see who's put their hands up and hasn't yet been accepted.
I've just pinned you. How
See
do you,
Chris
is that,
at the bottom
how
there.
do you, is that a special view you have there, or what are you looking at?
Yeah, this is right. This is panel view for readers.
Okay, gotcha. That's why I can't see it. Copy. So, okay, so the host button. Did you say that that's host and reader? Oh no, question reader. So I have
think
a host button.
Host
Host reader
SuperSource.
SS
Yeah.
is the one that adds the reader to the SuperSource.
It's over to the right-hand side next to the cut and auto.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I wasn't looking at that. So host SuperSource, host reader SuperSource. Okay, I see it.
I think
So,
we're back source track now.
In fact,
Gotcha.
SuperSource was
So-
sidelined 3 times.
And why don't you in preview push those 2 buttons to see what they do so you know.
So this is host SuperSource,
Yep, you're already on that one.
and then host. Oh, I see. Gotcha.
And see how
gotcha.
host SS has gone blue? You need to click it again to unblue it. There we go. That's a weirdness in universe.
How do I? Okay, so I unclicked it, but I want
Yeah.
just host SuperSource. How do I
So
get back
press
to
it
that?
again now.
There you go.
There you are.
Okay, that was weird.
Right, I'm not going to press Courtney. Yeah, he just. Right. So I'm just hands off the interface now because it's clear that Alex is doing it.
And what were you doing before, Dennis?
I was clicking when he called someone's name, I was clicking their name to bring them up in the SuperSource. Now, if I have to do it when he says their name, it's too late for us to be able to use the SuperSource. So the proposal that Jonas had of us having a button to skip to the next state is what we need. We need to be able to control what we see in the SuperSource independently of Mukana. Otherwise, we can't use the SuperSource because
Yeah.
it will change underneath us and we can't
Right.
have that happening.
Right. I see how that's handcuffing now. Okay, so should I cue the host reader super source?
If you want to use it for the next question, yes. We have the people accepted, so the super source should work.
But right now it has Courtney in it.
Yeah,
Because
because he was the last person speaking. Now it will update. Now we're good. You can cut to it. In fact, do cut to it because we're seeing Andrew for some random reason.
Okay, it was a little choppy, but otherwise,
Yeah,
how was that?
That was okay. Stand by because when we go to the next person, it may not cut. I would put screen. Yeah, there you are. Screen into preview.
What?
And
Okay. I'll
as
ask
soon
you
as
why
he
later.
as soon as he finishes speaking, cut to it. Oh no, don't worry now. It started working again.
Copy.
Now it's broken. Cut.
So we're on our backup smart speaker right now.
Yep. Graphic out.
As a backup to
graphic.
The graphic in is
Cut.
blued. Cutted. Cut.
Yep.
He doesn't
Why
have
is-
control of lower thirds graphics.
Josh,
Yes.
if the smart speaker breaks, and if you know where the person is sitting in the 20, you can cut to the person directly. For instance, for Andy,
I
you would
gotcha.
click 4 cut.
Copy that.
Right now, that's what's in preview is 4.
So
Not
I'm going
green
to let me pin that so that I can do that. Pin. Okay, I've got the pin up, and right now, the
If you want to use super source for the next question, put it in preview now. Mitchell has his hand up. It should work.
okay, it's doing that weird thing now. Let's see. That's not what I expected. So the
What
host
I
reader
see is
super source is not blue, but it's selected. How do I fix that?
Yeah, it shouldn't go blue. If it's gone blue, it's gone wrong.
So I don't want the host reader super source, but it's present. And if I hit super source 4, okay, that worked.
So,
Did I do that?
So
Yep.
Josh, that toggle is between on the right hand side, host
Mhm.
SS or host reader SS. That's a toggle for the state of the super source that you want.
Copy that.
There are 2 super sources available to you for that view. Either host super source or host reader. I'm going to toggle it real quick. Watch. Toggled. Toggled back. Okay.
Copy.
Okay.
Host or host reader. Gotcha. It'll sync in eventually.
And I don't know if that graphic went in yet.
Should I put it in?
You want to take, yeah, you can cut to the.
I hit graphic in.
Ooh, looks terrible now.
Yeah, it was blue, so it didn't work. If you want to show it, you can press it again.
Should I push it now?
If you want to.
Sure, why not?
There you go. So
And then-
here's a good example of bad framing for that.
Yeah.
Right. So graphic out. I'm going to wait till the super source changes. Super source in.
I want to send the question again.
Graphic in. Let's see if Courtney finishes up. Oops. I think I double hit that.
Just hit cut and then it'll look like you meant it.
I don't know what happened, but yeah, okay.
Next question has 2 hands plus 1 that's not accepted.
Dennis, the reader view that you're looking at, is that something that the cutter should be privy to, or are you kind of taking care of that on your end?
I'm taking care of it, but it's useful for the cutter to be able to see it.
So if you weren't there, it would be kind of something useful for the cutter.
Yeah. We might ask for a view specifically for cutting to be created that's non-interactive but shows you all the information.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. And it would be nice if you could, if it was dynamic, to where you could make one screen the focus that you're looking at a time. That would be fantastic. While we're making our list. Okay, how does that super source look?
It's
Andrew.
It's changing. It's now good.
I did not get the graphic. Graphic in. It's my makeup graphic. Graphic out.
I would then cut straight away after taking the graphic out. You're going to need to click cut twice when you do it because it's currently blue.
Okay, Andrew went a little longer than I expected. Wait for the super source to change.
Super source ready.
Oops, I hit the wrong button.
Take the graphic out when you're ready and just stay where you are.
Staying where I'm at. Okay, I'm done with the super source now. Don't feel it necessary to use just with Jeffrey and Alex. I'm going to prep the 16. I'm probably not going to use this. 16.
There's a hole at 12.
Yeah. So the next backup should be what? Screen or active speaker? No, it's
well, we're on active speaker, so you don't need to.
Yeah.
We're actually on screen share, so put active speaker in preview, and as
active
soon
speakers
as
in preview.
Yeah, and as soon as he calls next question, cut to it, and that way we
Copy.
get rid of screen share.
Roger that.
The problem with this is you can see the color is different between the two.
I'm not seeing that. Maybe
Preview and
it's
program
just-
have different color. Oh, another hand. I don't know if it's going to be accepted.
Thanks for the heads up, Dennis.
Yeah, might be a good idea to ready the super source.
Super source ready. Let's
Because
see
you will
if it
get
changes.
if it changes, then you'll get a cleaner cut, and you can put the active speaker back in preview as soon as super source is in program. Yeah, he's been accepted. Okay, you didn't get the opportunity to do that. If you see Alex start nodding,
I'll
you
put the
can-
super source in.
you can
Sure.
cut to it. Yep. Go.
So he's probably done, Craig, at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm watching the super source. Still good if he goes next question.
I would put the reader in if you're going to use it for when you go next question.
Put the
So host
reader in.
reader SS.
Can you be more specific? Is that the
Click host reader SS. There we are.
copy?
And as soon as you see it change, there we go. Slightly early, but you're
My
good.
bad. It didn't seem
You're
to
back in.
work.
Yeah, you're back on screen share. So if you hit host SS now to take the reader out, and wait to see Jeffrey take up the losing Roscoe essentially. So Jeffrey's the whole right hand side. Cut to
Copy.
that, and then put active speaker in preview, and then cut to that when you're ready to do so. And that way we lose the screen share, which we're on at the moment.
Waiting for the super source to change.
Now, good. And smart speaker, active speaker into preview.
Active speaker in preview.
Good. And then you can cut
Cut.
at will. No hands on the next question. Do we have anyone to put into 12 so we can use? All right.
Super
Well,
source is broken.
Yeah, there's no hands, so it's not. It's just there's no one to show. Next question has one hand, Andrew Lipnick.
So your request would mean that you could go ahead and just move and put Andrew in if they granted us our request.
Yeah. Well, it's us granting us the request. We need to do development on the OH 2.0 machine
So-
to make this happen.
So what could be the negative of that if something went differently than what we expected? We would also have the flexibility to change that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
So if you want to use the super source, you want to put the reader back in.
Host reader super source, copy that. Cutting to it, graphic in.
Too early. It's not.
Oh,
It didn't work.
I'm going to cut away,
Yep.
graphic out, salvage that. Sorry about that.
No worries.
We're allowed to apologize back here.
Yeah, I wouldn't. We just accept it didn't work and move on.
Well, it's kind of a mental thing for me. I'm sort of acknowledging that wasn't what I intended to do.
Mm.
Reset.
I intended not to intend it. The touchscreen actually doesn't work too bad, although you sort of want to. I don't know if it's just my touchscreen, but keeping the double presses at bay. You just kind of have to be more concise about your inputs.
Next question has Andrew Lipnick's hand. We will see if the super source works when we go to the next question. So if you want to cut to it, wait until you see Andrew in where Jeffrey is.
Monitoring the super source. Currently, Jeffrey's in, Andrew is not. Now, I remember, it must have been a change to Mukana, that we could see the whole interaction of people raising their hands and then them being accepted, which apparently you can see, Dennis. That's changed.
Not since I've been using Meccano, it hasn't.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that, like people would raise their hands and then it was up to Alex whether he wanted to accept them or not. But we could all, that was all transparent to us before.
Right.
Now it's not.
Yeah.
We could see accounts. We couldn't see the unselected names.
Okay, SuperSource is ready. Push in the question.
Graphic in.
Cool.
Graphic out.
A bit early. I would, yeah.
Yeah, too early. It was a long question. Cut.
Yeah,
Too
and I would
early
have
on the
waited.
cut.
Yeah, I would have waited
Yeah.
to see Andrew in before cutting.
Copy that.
Courtney's put his hand up, hasn't been accepted yet. Jeffrey's put his hand up.
So the super source now has to change. So I'm hitting that. If anyone else jumps in, I'll jump back to it. If not, we're done with the super source.
Okay.
I was hoping with our last powwow we could have gotten the buttons renamed.
Next question has two hands. Chris Comfort, Jeffrey Powers.
What button's renamed?
The smart speaker, active speaker button in Universe.
I think we've got that captured and we'll address that today.
Yeah, that just came up today.
Oh no, I complained about that before. It's confused me more than once.
Right. It's the first time I've heard it mentioned today.
I mean, it's fine. You can either change it one place or the other. It's just that they're not the same thing. What would be the better description of that? Smart speaker or active speaker?
Active speaker, I think.
What's smart about it?
I don't agree because active speaker is the same as Zoom. And we want to be able to differentiate it.
Is it different than Zoom?
Yeah.
It is because screen share is actually the active speaker in Zoom.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Correct. So, I mean, I wouldn't even mind, I don't know, just me, hyphenated screen share / active speaker, and then smart speaker. Right. So maybe just put smart speaker in Universe controller. And it might be good to know that the screen share is very rarely do we ever use it. Most of the time it's a backup. And so it's active speaker in Zoom. It should be something that indicates that on the controls, I would think. Because I wouldn't know it just looking at it.
Well, as long as the naming is consistent between the two things, that's the most important thing.
I concur there. I'm sure there's a story.
Yeah, let's hold this conversation till afterwards and concentrate on the rest of the show.
Copy. So screen share is Zoom active speaker and screen share and smart speaker. Smart speaker has a better transition than the quirks that Zoom has, correct? It doesn't have the little.
It's using a different
glitchy-
algorithm.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to avoid the flashes that we've actually been seeing in it. It should, in my opinion, hold for at least 3 seconds.
Got you. So that is the preferred transition, the active speaker, aka smart speaker.
Yeah. Right, next question. 2 hands, Chris Comfort, Jeffrey Powers.
Of course, the other thing about it is it follows along the lower thirds of the person that's talking.
Copy. I'm going
Yes.
to go ahead and change up the super source to reader.
And
Should I
it's good.
cut graphic in? Cut too early. So should I be thinking about this a little differently? Bill's reading the question and I've got the graphic up. Can I?
Why is Alex on the screen and not Chris?
Smart speaker broken. Go to screen share.
Screen share.
Screen
share, sorry.
and cut.
Screen
That's
cut. Thank you. That's another thing that needs to change on the buttons.
Right. I wouldn't trust the super source at the moment because it seems
Should I
Alex
ready
is
the
clicking.
gallery?
Now someone clicked Courtney.
We've got that blank spot in the gallery at the moment.
We
Someone
have,
just started
yeah.
remapping. Danny Law has now appeared twice. Someone is now touching the upper buttons.
It's not me.
I'm not touching the upper buttons that I'm aware of.
Is anyone else logged into it, Jonas? Do we not have Jonas on? Looks like he's left.
Is that flickering in Courtney's camera or is that our system?
One of those things.
Have we noticed flickering before, or is that more likely just his camera?
It's our system.
It's our system. Copy.
Okay, Andrew Lipnick is the only hand on the next question.
So, okay, let me put the reader in the super source. Okay, now it's blue. And what does that mean?
It means that you need to click it again to make it not blue.
Thank you for that. It's no longer blue.
If you're going to use it, put it in preview.
Okay, so got you. If I'm going to use it, I'm going to put the super source in preview.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And then you need
Yeah.
to wait to see Andrew Lipnick appear where Courtney is before you cut to it.
Waiting for the super source to resolve.
And you're good.
Hitting it and graphic. That almost looked natural.
Job.
Graphic out. And cut. Okay,
That was great.
Didn't pre-cut it that time. There's hope.
No hands on the next question.
Hope for you, kid. Yet.
Is the gallery safe
Gallery looks
to
okay. Yeah.
gallery loaded?
We have 5 more questions after this one, but 3 of them haven't been put on deck yet.
So the only thing I got to watch out for here is in case the smart speaker glitches, I can switch over to screen share. Okay, so nobody else, it's not locked, but nobody else is putting their hand up. Oh wait, did Andrew just put his hand up?
No.
Has that been there, or did I just notice it?
Yeah, he answered first on this question.
Okay, so that's just a remnant. Oh, now it's green.
Yeah, that's because I just clicked it because it should have been clicked.
Can I put? He's not coming back. Okay.
No.
Okay, I am not set up for super source because the super source is broken.
Yeah, and okay,
And I'm going
if you
to change out the host.
Yep. And then wait for Roscoe to disappear, and then you can cut to it.
Do you mean Sky?
No. Roscoe
wait for
is
Roscoe.
there at the moment.
Yeah, copy.
When he goes.
Copy that.
Yep.
Copy.
And you're good.
Cutting. Putting the question back in.
He'd already come up in screen, so. And I would now take it out and switch back to smart speaker.
Switching?
No, out.
I was actually gonna wait until Alex came back, but that's fine.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if you do that, Alex gets annoyed because he can't look away from the camera.
Oh, gotcha. So we're giving him some privacy then.
Yeah.
Copy that.
Okay, next question. One hand, Andrew Lipnick.
Okay, so super source, I'm going to go ahead and put the reader back in since I think we're done with Sky. Sky's making faces like he always does.
Yes.
I can always, so let's see, if I change my mind, go back, I can reset it. So if he just looks like he's going to go, I'm going to cut back to him. If he says something, I'll cut back to the super source.
It's almost nice to throw it for the faces.
Should I go now?
If you want to.
Go ahead. So I'm going to cut back. If he goes next question, then I'm going to transition the super source and then bring it in. I was hoping that he would finish up here soon. I'm kind of stuck in this shot.
Or you can go back to show Alex now.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm going to transition the super source over to reader, wait for it to change.
It's ready.
Graphic
Question in. Perfect. That worked nicely because you got the name on the single shot and then the question on the super source. That worked beautifully.
Too early on the cut out. Okay, so a little early on the graphic out.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think
Otherwise, that was okay.
Was that all nominal? Okay.
Yeah. All right. Next question has no hands.
So the thing that I'm realizing is that the delay that happens, I'm always anxious that I can't switch fast enough, but what I'm realizing is that there's a good delay before the super source matures, so I've got time to bring out the question, the graphic, and still wait for it to be ready to switch to it. So I'm less anxious about that now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we do have a hand on the next question. It's not yet been accepted.
Changing the super source in case Andy says something. Andy's pretty engaged, but I don't know if he's going to say anything. Now he's distracted.
He's put his hand up again, so if he's accepted...
I'm ready. Thank you for that. Yeah. It'd be cool. I hope he
don't cut to the super source, because if he gets accepted, we'll see him twice.
We'll see him twice. Why?
Because there's a bug which we need to fix.
Okay. Is there any way I would have known that looking at what I'm looking at?
No.
Okay. Thanks for that. Ha! You're a prophet. Okay. Cutting to him now that it's fixed. I like this shot. This is so much better than the flippy flip. Yeah. If Alex dominates, I'm going to go back to him. Giving Andrew opportunity to get back in this. He turned his head. He's out.
Yep. Cool.
Okay. Moving this. I'm going to wait a second before I transition to super source.
Yeah, two hands on the next question, Bill and Jeffrey.
Okay, I'm done with the super source. Moving back to reader.
And super source ready.
Cutting, graphic in.
Yeah, I hadn't dawned on me that, of course, Bill is up twice now.
How was that?
Yeah, what I would have done there is just not had the reader in because he's on screen anyway.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't catch that. Thanks for that.
Okay, Andrew has his hand up. If he gets accepted, then yep, he has been, and the super source has changed.
Ready for a super source? Everything looks good?
Yep. Wait for Bill to go before cutting to it. Oh, and
he's already out. How did that happen?
Alex clicked it.
Oh, so that's good. So I'm
Yeah.
ready now. I don't have to wait for it to transition. I can go right
Yeah,
away.
you can just cut now.
Perfect. That was
Yeah.
so much better. Okay.
Yeah. See, now
go
that's what I
Alex.
was. Yeah, that's what I was asking to do, but he told me it was going to be
Fantastic.
disruptive. But it's also disruptive that he's doing it and not me, because then we don't know that it's going to happen.
I'm just cutting to
And-
him.
Yeah.
I should have. I could have been a little quicker, I guess. I was
Yeah.
kind of expecting it to react, but see, the thing is, if we could push it along,
Then we know. Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna wait for if they. Let's see if they have another interaction here. Maybe not.
Yeah. Next question has one hand and it's corny. Yeah, so if you hear Andrew say anything, you can cut back to the super source.
Copy that. Standing by.
And I would push the graphic in as soon as I've cut if doing that.
Oh, so sort of a re-preview for the question. It's stale
Yeah.
now. Copy. Yeah, I like that. I don't know. I'm kind of tempted to. Oh, he's looking away. All right, Andrew, if you give me some eye contact, I'll give you some question time. Let's do it. Graphic in. It'd be really cool if you just decided to jump in right now, but I'm not that lucky.
It sounds like we're coming to the end of the question the way Alex is speaking.
Okay, fading the question out. And back to Alex. We good? Graphic in.
And I'm back, I think. Now I'm back.
Okay, how was that?
That looked okay. What I saw of it, it was only halfway through the question that I got my internet connection back and I could see what was happening. Well, no, not strictly true. Other things were working, but Zoom wasn't.
Copy.
And I've had this happen a bit recently. I'm hoping it will stop happening when I change locations. Next question has no hands. Next question is the last question.
So I'll ready the 16 gallery.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would also have Andrew's just put his hand up on this question and has been accepted.
Copy.
So if you want to use
ready.
SuperSource, you want to take reader out. Click host
Take
SS.
the reader out.
Host
oh,
SS.
sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, gotcha. It's not working. I can't take the reader out.
I'm trying. There you go.
Is that a glitch?
Cue the outro.
I don't have an outro. Negative on the outro.
Play the music.
Negative on the music.
All right. No, we should be on that.
Waiting for
Yeah.
Alex to put his hand down.
Yeah. And what I would do after the last question is to have the 16 up in the preview. When he says thank you to the panelists, I go to it.
Copy. I'm going to try and preempt Alex with the super source.
We can't use the super source on the next question currently because there's no hands.
February 28th, 2017. President Donald
We're getting audio.
First address.
Thank you.
That's not germane to this meeting. Did I? Oh, I did a dumb thing. I hit the wrong button, but it didn't matter. I had intended to cut to the 2 up, but
Right.
I
Never
pushed
mind.
the wrong button.
Yeah, I would hit SuperSource 1 now. So you see it's blue, and that will unblue it by clicking on it once.
I blew it out.
Yeah.
Is that just
Okay.
these are just glitches?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
universe thing.
Copy.
Roscoe has his
Happens a
hand
lot
on
in
the
Outlook.
next question now. Not accepted yet. If it gets accepted, then we'll be able to use the super source.
I guess the gallery wouldn't really be a good context here. So he's not really talking to the group.
You can cut to the gallery when he thanks the panelists.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they're doing weird things.
Yeah, they're fairly well behaved at the moment.
Something I want to talk to Alex about for next time is if he's talking and there's no people accepted on the next question, whether I should accept them so that we can use the super source.
Okay.
Yeah, see,
super
we
source is
can't.
broken.
Yeah, it's because he was accepted after it was already drawn. Now we're good. But we still have
Graphic
the reader
in.
shown.
Reader is.
Yeah, just
I
cut
can't
to Roscoe. Cut to Roscoe. And now it's called.
Cutting to Courtney.
Yep.
Okay, so in that situation, I can't change it while it's in program.
Right. We won't be using the super source again now. So I would
just go to gallery.
Yeah. And then
copy.
When he does the outro, you can cut to it at the appropriate point.
Copy. Where's the music outro?
In your head.
Oh, that's right. That's where I left it. Why is the feed gotten lower quality?
Lack of bandwidth.
Copy. Standing by for gallery.
I'm going to hit done on this question when he moves into the outro. just because it's a good habit to mark when things are happening.
That doesn't change any of the...
It makes no difference to you.
Okay. Copy. I'm glad I got a chance at this. I'm just not going to wrap my head around it without being thrown in the fire. And I don't have an ATEM, so it's just a little different mindset for the switching.
Do you use Preview Program in OBS?
I do. Yeah, but I typically, like, my Stream Deck doesn't switch the preview. It usually just switches the program. So usually I'm just prepping stuff in the preview. But this is more of a... Yeah, I actually... Interesting you mentioned that. I actually thought about, like, sort of practicing that, sending the Stream Deck commands to the preview instead, and then having a switching button.
Yeah, that's how I made it work, because then I could choose the transition.
Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, I've actually thought about doing that before, but yeah, I could see. Especially since this is the workflow here, so that might be helpful to get that mindset.
Sounds like he's winding up.
Yeah, I'm almost tempted to go to the gallery if people have a reaction to what he's saying. Because some people are laughing.
We need to train people to react more.
Well, you do that by feedback. So when they see that they're getting in the shot when they do things, then that's sort of your Pavlovian reaction. If he cracks a joke, I'll switch to gallery early. Joke sent, joke unreceived. I mean, I think it's a funny joke, but nobody else seems to.
This is the show that never ends.
Oh, there's the outro music. It's been on the whole time. Some people started cutting to it. Yeah, I've got nothing, guys. I've got nothing.
Great job, Josh.
Hey, thanks. It's started to be less stressful and more fun, so that's helpful.
Yeah, as having done it, I know, and it takes a minute to really get kind of comfortable, and then it's like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, I've been a little bit tied up too with bringing the sources in and everything, so it was tough to get a wrap on just what the buttons do, so that's helpful. Wrapping up? Possibly? Nope. Do you use an ATEM, Laura?
No, I don't. I don't have an ATEM.
Did someone just say something?
She has a constellation.
Josh, you have no ATEM?
Okay, stand by. He's about to thank the panelists.
Standing by.
Cut. Name me up.
Cut.
You did it.
Okay, we're in the final cut. So we can only use this for 30 minutes.
Yep. Cut back.
Cut back.
Graphic out.
Graphic out. Ooh, I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah, I suspected you didn't. That's why I asked you to do it.
Gotcha. I hadn't been.
Yeah, there's a feature request to have it automatically take it out.